name is Prejean McGrady. I am an author and a speaker based out of Lake Charles, Louisiana. And I'm a mom and a wife, first and foremost. Those are my primary vocations. And I love being a wife and a mother. My baby is napping right now in the other room. So I had a few minutes to be able to share some thoughts with you today as you gather together in your small groups to continue unpacking the heart of God and unpacking what it means to truly be in relationship with God and all of the different attributes and qualities of God's heart. And today I just want to spend a few moments discussing and breaking open and reflecting on the concept of God's mysterious heart. God's heart is mysterious. And I don't know about you, when I hear the word mystery, I immediately think of Scooby-Doo. I was a diehard Scooby-Doo fan as a kid. I watched all the movies and all the cartoons, and I had a Mystery Machine pillow that sat on the edge of my bed. And I loved the concept of Scooby-Doo, right? You've got this hodgepodge group of people that maybe wouldn't be friends unless they were crime-fighting mystery solvers together. And something's happening, right? Like one of my favorite episodes is the one where it's the old abandoned amusement park is being haunted, right? And so the Scooby-Doo crew, right, this group has to go and figure out, well, what could this possibly be? And so what do? It's like a classic mystery story, right? They gather clues, they collect evidence, they try to piece together the thread of the story, and then at the end, they figure out that the ghost or the creature that was haunting this abandoned amusement park is actually just the old, beraggled owner who was mad that he had to declare bankruptcy, and they rip off the hood, and they reveal that this is the guy, and the mystery is solved. Mystery is solved, and that's the end of it. And I think what I loved about those, just like I went on an Agatha Christie and Sherlock Holmes kick for a little while, and I loved reading all those, like the concept was you have a problem, and you gather evidence, and you solve the problem, right? You something is unknown, it is mysterious, and if you get enough clues, if you gather enough facts, if you have enough information, the mystery is over. That's not God. Right? I gave you this big, long, winding explanation of Scooby-Doo and mystery novels, and I'm here to say that that's not how God operates, and that's not how God works. And that's really difficult to grasp and to accept. Because when it comes to God, there are definitely aspects of God, definitely aspects of our faith, definitely aspects of God's influence upon our life, God's will, that are mysterious. And it's not a tit for tat. It's not, well, God's mysterious and this is happening in my life, so I'm just going to collect this information and gather these facts and gather these clues and I'll figure it out. God is mysterious. And God is not a mystery to be solved. He is a mystery to be experienced. The mysterious heart of God is one that we are invited to enter into, to dwell in, to rest in, to experience fully. The mysterious heart of God is not a mystery to be solved. If you remember nothing else that I say, that's what I want you to remember. Now, you might sit there and think, well, then, what's the point? Why even approach the heart of God? If it's mysterious and I'm not called to solve that mystery, I'm just called to rest in it, well, what's the point? Well, the point is that when we rest in the heart of God, when we rest in that mysterious heart, when we trust that mysterious will that doesn't always seem to make sense on the surface, but when we rest in that mysterious heart and we dwell in that mystery, we are happier. We are satisfied, right? St. Augustine says that he was restless until he rested in God. He didn't understand who he was. He was running around in circles until he rested in God. I think a lot of times when we see and experience God's will in our lives, which is oftentimes mysterious, and we see what God is doing in our lives and we don't quite understand, and we try to gather together these facts and this information and these clues, and we can't piece it together because God's not this puzzle and he's not this mystery to be solved, we run in the opposite direction. Oh, well, that's not for me. Rather than, maybe God's not calling me to figure this out. Maybe God's not calling me to solve this. Maybe God is calling me to rest in this. Maybe God is calling me to dwell in this. Maybe God is inviting me to trust him a little bit more. It says in the book of Ephesians that he has made known to us the mystery of his will. That phrase scares me a little bit. Because if God has revealed something mysterious to me, and I'm not supposed to just solve the mystery, but live in the mystery, then if he's revealed it to me, he's inviting me to trust. He's inviting me to trust that his will is greater than my own. His plan is better than my own. His vision for my life and his ways of ordaining my path are more valuable and important than anything that I could come up with for myself. And I am called to trust in that mystery. I mean, think about your life. Think about the course of your experience of faith, or even maybe before you came into a life of faith, maybe before you joined this small group discussion, or before you were into church, or wherever you are in your faith journey. Just think, when have things happened in your life that you've questioned, you've doubted, you've not understood exactly what God had planned, and then it all worked out in the end? And that's not to say that all this bad stuff happens and that's mysterious God acting in this mysterious way, but it's to say that when we are in the midst of living our life and we see things happening, we experience things happening, we live our lives, and we look at the influence of God within our lives, we can see this through line, right? We can see that this mysterious plan, this mysterious heart that we're called to enter into and to dwell in is guiding and leading us exactly where God wants us to go. I'll give you an example. And if you've read the book from Life Teen about the mysterious heart of God, I gave the example in the book about how there was a brief period of time when I was being invited to change job roles, so to speak. I was a teacher for 5 years at a Catholic high school. And in my second year of teaching, the principal approached me about, well, would you want to be the campus minister? And I said, yeah, I would love that. I think that's really where my skill set is. I mean, I love the classroom, but I definitely think that maybe campus ministry is where I'm called to be. So I was under the impression that I was going to become the new campus minister, and then was informed that I wasn't old enough, I wasn't experienced enough, I didn't have enough wisdom to be able to walk with young people in that way, so they were just going to keep me in the classroom. And I was furious. I felt marginalized, I felt victimized, I felt as if God had dangled this carrot in front of me and then snapped it away, like, oh, you want to be the campus minister? Well, ha, you can't have it. And I was pretty ticked. I didn't understand why this is what had happened. Well, I didn't become the campus minister, and the guy that did become the campus minister did a terrible job, to where they started looking for a new campus minister. And the guy that they hired was the man that at the time I was dating, who lived up in Scranton, Pennsylvania. He applied for the job because he wanted to move down to the South to be closer to me so we could eventually start our lives together in person. And so he ended up moving to Lake Charles for this job. Had I been given the job, I hope that I would have done a good enough job to not lose it. But had I been given the job, that path might not have been there, right? It was a crooked line at first, and God can write straight with a crooked line. Doesn't mean the line needed to be crooked in the first place, but God can write straight with it. When something happens that we don't quite understand, we're called to trust that the mystery of God's will has been revealed to us, and that we are called to rest in that mystery, not just figure it out. Right? That the Lord plumbs the depths of our heart and comes to know who we are, and we are called to know who He is. That we are called to live in and to dwell in this beautiful mystery of the Father. The psalm that speaks to me the most with this, the psalm that screams, pay attention to the mystery of God, and pay attention to how God is inviting you into that mystery, is Psalm 139. Lord, you have probed me. You know me. You know when I sit and when I stand. You understand my thoughts from afar. You sift through my travels and my rest. With all of my ways, you are familiar. God knows us intimately. He knows what we're doing. He knows where we're doing it, why we're doing it, how we're doing it, and what it's causing us to feel and to think and to experience. He knows us. We are called to rest in our experience and knowledge of Him. And even though He's mysterious, and even though He's a concept that we might not grasp, although God is not a concept, God is the lover of our souls. He's not a theological idea. He is a trinity of persons that loves perfectly and loves us. He knows us. We are called to rest rest in the knowledge that He knows us, and in turn, rest in Him. That's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that any of this maybe made sense, but I'm inviting you to maybe contemplate and to think about the moments in your life when things have happened that have maybe been mysterious or confusing, or you haven't quite understood it. Or think about the things about God that maybe confuse you or confound you or cause you pause. And rather than try to collect clues and solve a puzzle, rest in the knowledge of God's greater will. Live in the reality of God's abundant and perfect love. Dwell in the mystery, not because you want to solve it, but because you want to live in it. It's been an honor and a pleasure to just chat with you and to share some thoughts with you today. I've got different blogs, and my 2 books are for sale on my website, katieprejean.com. And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at katieprejean. I'm praying for you. I hope that your small group discussion goes well, and reflect upon that mystery. Pray through Psalm 139. Pray with Ephesians chapter 1. I'll be praying for you. Enjoy your conversation this evening. Thank you so much.